I drove in my car to the Herb Graham Recreation Centre. It took me about 20 minutes from my house. When I got there, I walked through the main entrance, got my name checked off, then walked into the basketball court. I took a seat in the stands. Then two of the basketball players spoke to us. They spoke about their everyday lives and what wheelchair basketball means to them. They also went through some basic rules of the game. We then separated into two groups. I was on the second court. I sat in the wheelchair and attempted to get a hang of manoeuvring it. We then added in the ball. We played a couple of drills. Firstly without the ball, then we introduced the ball. We then played a modified game. We took it in turns as there wasn't enough chairs, so sometimes I'd watch from the sidelines. After the game, we gathered together for a final reflection and addressed any further questions. We then helped put away the gear and said our goodbyes and thank yous. I was really anxious to enter the centre as I had no idea what to expect, as this was my first ever prac. I was nervous and a bit shaky. As soon as I met the instructors, they were so welcoming and friendly that I relaxed straight away and felt more comfortable. When I first sat in the chair, I was a bit embarrassed by my skills, but then my confidence increased and I was excited and happy. I also felt very inspired by the two instructors. What was really good was that we got to put ourselves in the instructor's shoes and actually have a go sitting in the wheelchair and playing. I also found it really interesting getting insight into what basketball meant to each instructor. What wasn't so good was that we were rushed at the end of the session during the reflection time. I also didn't write down enough notes. From my experience, I realised just how important sports like this can be to people's lives. I also realised how challenging it was to play, even for myself. I also learned that just because someone has a disability doesn't mean they can't get joy out of activities that they love, and there is always a way to participate. I regret not asking more questions in the time frame. However, I could have approached the instructors after to ask my questions that I didn't get to ask in the session. For my prac next year, I will try and de-stress myself before I attend. I will do this by ensuring I have researched the place beforehand, so that I have some understanding and knowledge of the centre and its values. This will help me to be more confident from the start. With increased confidence, I will use my initiative to ask extra questions and seek further knowledge beforehand or after the sessions take place. I will also make sure I am always organised and prepared with a notepad and pen with any questions I have before I start, or to take down any important points that I might want to research further. I will also make sure I engage in reflection after each practical session so that I can learn from my mistakes and develop my skills further.